Hello everybody, welcome to WhatCulture Gaming. I'm Scott, joined by Josh.
Hello, Scott.
Josh, my friend, this is one of the most ridiculous things currently blowing up across the internet, and it's worth diving in on because even if it's not true, it's just a hell of a lot of fun. Now, this comes from you might know. Okay, let's backtrack a bit. Let me piece this together because I've been immersed in this ridiculousness for the last sort of 45 minutes, trying to pick it all apart. Now, this initially started with April's reveal of a horror game called Abandoned. Now, you might remember that as a very foresty-looking PT style or Silent Hill-looking first-person horror game. Developed by Blue Box Studios. Now, a lot of people, even back in April, said, well, that looks a lot like it could be Silent Hill. Now, I know that's probably because we're all starved to death of Silent Hill stuff, even though little bits and pieces keep coming out about it. Now, the Blue Box developer then tweeted, or very recently tweeted, abandoned equals first letter S, last letter L, which sent that was the kindling, set everything blown up because that sounds a lot like it could be a Silent Hill thing. Now, one of the biggest things for this is the idea that Blue Box's CEO is actually Hideo Kojima and has always been him all along. Now, I must shout out over on Reddit, massive shout outs to Aid This Fellow user and Nana Blair, who have managed to bring a whole bunch of research and stuff together because this blew the hell up across last night. I say last night to us as in the UK because this seems to have done a lot of traction while we were just sleeping. We slept through it. So it's catching up on this stuff. But a lot of people have since weighed in, the likes of Jason Schreier, the likes of Geoff Keighley. Jeff Keighley's part in this is ridiculous. One of Insomniac's team. Of course it is. I mean, his best friend's Hideo Kojima. He's got to do something about it. And Jeff Grubb has weighed in on this. So there's a ton of stuff to get to. Like I said, the main thing hinges on the idea that Blue Box's CEO, whose actual name is Hassan Kahraman. That obviously is HK initials, HK being Hideo Kojima, but if you translate Hideo from Japanese to Turkish, you get Karaman. That's literally his name. So, point one. Next thing is that all of the Blue Box CEO's LinkedIn profile pages are stock photos. The team doesn't seem to actually exist. They also have no history. They've not developed anything before. Hassan Karaman does have a bunch of titles that he's worked on in terms of apps and stuff on the App Store, which someone realized that one of the initials for one of his apps, it was like a personal trainer app, PT. That could be another thing. I don't buy that one, but it could be. But still, the fact that the team seem like a bunch of fake people or whatever is a bit telling. Bringing it all back around to Geoff Keighley's thing, though, and I've got so much more to get to, but bringing it back around to Geoff Keighley's thing, he was answering a bunch of questions on Twitter, and he was directly asked what the hell's going on with this Blue Box stuff. And rather than just say, it's not true, which he sort of alluded to this after, but he initially answered to it and just said that he's been in touch with Hassan and that they've asked him to help with the rollout of the game and he's looking forward to everyone finding out together. So he could have just said, it's not what you think it is, but he didn't want to.
Yeah. He had a big old smile on his face as well, Scott. A very knowing smile, someone might say, if they were buying into this whole thing.
He seems to know more than he's letting on. So, but Geoff Keighley also went on Reset Era and responded to one of the threads picking this stuff apart, saying, I don't think this is it's not necessarily what you guys think this is. But that was after, timeline-wise, that was after he's apparently being in touch with Hassan. So I'm thinking that he's lying. I think that's all just part of the rollout for the game. If we're going to get involved in this, I said to Josh before we recorded, I wish I had some tinfoil to put on the old head because I love this stuff. So yeah, he just said to set expectations. I honestly don't think this is what you guys think it is, but that was after he's been in touch with whoever Hassan is anyway. And also to bring it back around to Hideo Kojima before I pass this over to you, and then I'm going to bring it back because I've got even more. But this isn't the first time that Hideo Kojima has done this. In fact, it's the third time, or it would mark the third time, because he created an entirely fake studio for Metal Gear Solid 5 called Moby Dick Studios, headed up by Joachim Mogren. Joachim was an anagram for Kojima, and there was a whole thing where a bandaged man was like the fake CEO of that studio, and then eventually Hideo Kojima unveiled the bandages, revealed it was him. I think that year's E3. That was a whole thing for Metal Gear 5. PT's fake studio was 7780 Studios before they revealed that it was Kojima Productions, before they revealed that PT was actually Silent Hills. So he's done it before. He's a mad lad. He loves it. He can't get enough.
He does have history, and let me tell you, Scott, right?
Go on.
Hideo Kojima ruses, mysteries, enigmas, why I like gaming. Like, all of this stuff is crazy, and it probably, maybe, won't happen, but I like that someone out there, a bunch of people out there, some of the biggest people in the industry are all chiming in, trying to put together this evidence.
Well, Jason Schreier was 100% confirmed last night, and then this morning he was like, nah, I don't think it is anymore. Like, well, what have you seen, mate? What have you seen? Where have you been?
What do you know that we don't?
What do you no.
So let me try to just kind of wrap this all up, because this is a lot of information. So what you're telling me is all of this information that you've just said and more to come is pointing towards Hideo Kojima and co. making a fake studio to promote Silent Hills that they're working on. Is it just a Silent Hill game? Is it the Silent Hills PT that we had before? What? Wrap it all up for me in a little bow, please.
Well, I can't. That's the thing. I cannot wrap it up for you. I can only add more bows. That's all I can do. But I can give you more crazy stuff, which is just more fun. One thing is so let's just break this stuff down. So, and I'm just going to reel off some more stuff in terms of what people have noticed. One thing that people have noticed, I've got 6 more things to tell you. One is that the Kojima Productions Twitter has announced that they've got more merchandise coming to the store. They had a little GIF, little rollout of what that is. Very pitch black logo, a very pitch black background with a forest in it, with little shots of a forest. Now, what other game, I ask you, has a forest in from Kojima Productions? None of them, mate. That's not any of them. So that's one thing. 2, the post timings of when the Blue Box Twitter are posting things doesn't line up with the Netherlands time scale at all. It lines more up with Japanese time codes. It would mean that they're posting at 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, which maybe they are. Maybe Hassan Karahan is just an absolute mad lad and he's up all night, all hours of the night, like me, then maybe. But that's another thing. One other thing to throw in here is that Kojima Productions have a satellite studio in Amsterdam, which obviously is part of the Netherlands, and so it would make sense that they have some presence in the region. Even if that doesn't necessarily be where the tweets are coming from, I still think the tweets are coming from Kojima. The Blue Box logo for the studio themselves is a color inversion of the PlayStation Studios logo. Mm-hmm. Literally, just invert the colors. It's right there. What do you think of those 3 things before I blow your mind even more?
Well, my brain's trying to catch up with it because you're speaking so fast about so many different things that I'm having to shut down in the old brainal area because I can't keep up. The Blue Box Studios being an inversion of the PlayStation Studios thing, that was compelling because apparently it's even the same font. Like, that seems mad. Like, that is...
I'll do you one better for the fonts, mate.
Come on.
Boss Mabel over on Reddit realized that if you go to Abandon's website and look at the font, that font is called Antonio. They then looked, just did a global search for Antonio because there is in San Antonio, Texas, there's a street called Silent Hill, mate. It's right there. It's right there.
I feel like I'm doing a news video with Charlie Day from It's Always Sunny, you know, when he's got like the big board and he's kind of like putting all of the different conspiracy theories all over the place. This sounds crazy, Scott. This sounds absolutely like ridiculous. And with everything you've said, I'm not 100% convinced. I'm not going to sit here and say I believe in this 100% because I've been burned so many different times before by jumping on similar mysteries like the indoctrination theory or the theory that there's going to be more Metal Gear Solid 5 after that came out.
Or the Nintendo Switch Pro.
The Nintendo Switch Pro, yeah. That's an entirely different video. Don't put that in my mouth. Certainly don't put that in my mouth. What I was going to say is, though, that said, if this isn't Kojima, it's a bit weird, isn't it? Like, all of this stuff, even regardless of it being separated from Silent Hill potentially, is a bit weird. What's going on with the stock photos? Why have we got no game history? Why does the font match up? What's happening?
Because there is another thing from Reddit where another user called Colin R. George. Now, this is proper tinfoil hat Charlie Day thinking, but they posted about the fact that if you look at a color wheel, the opposite of orange is blue, and what name was on the box that Sam Porter.
No, you are not linking this to that Death Stranded daft trailer with the oranges in the boxes.
Well, that's what Colin R. George linked it to. So in the Death Stranding director's cut, Sam Porter Bridges gets a little box off the shelf. What's on the side of that box? Orange. What's on the other side of the color wheel? Blue. What's the name of the developer? Blue Box Studios, mate.
Dude, like, you've got to stop because my head's going to go like scanner's mad. It's going to go explode and there's going to be blood everywhere. The police are going to be called. You're going to be responsible. I honestly don't know what to say. I'm kind of speechless. This is a mad news video. Well, the most important thing is you've got all of this. You've given me all of this stuff. Do you believe it, or are you just along for the ride?
I want to believe, Parappa the Rapper. I want to believe. I like the energy of it, even if it's not true. I've enjoyed the run, the rush. Let's say the energy of it. But at the same time, we know a Silent Hill game is coming. We've had Junji Ito talk about it. The original composer, it might be the same dude, talked about it, said that he was working on something, and then got NDA'd to High Heaven and just said, "Oh no, that wasn't. I was talking about something else." So we know that something's coming. I also think it makes perfect sense on PlayStation side because they're very much out of the E3 conversation and they can just come in a week later, a couple of weeks later, and drop some major details. Something else that I didn't mention but I should talk about is that PlayStation have tweeted out, or rather the abandoned Twitter as well, have mentioned that on June 22nd, initially it was tweeted as June 20th, but it's actually going to be June 22nd, Abandoned is going to have access to a real-time trailer, an interactive trailer that is rendered on the PlayStation 5. Now, no one knows what the hell that thing is, but it sounds very PT. The Blue Box Studios as well have also said that the real name behind their studio, the BLUE thing, is coming soon. But if you look online, that's already been sussed that it stands for Best Level User Experience. Coming on June 22nd is a real-time rendered trailer on PS5, which will be something that's interactive. Kind of sounds like PT. Kind of sounds like something that Sony would give to a studio that matters.
God, so the bottom line is we're going to find out sooner rather than later. We're going to find out next Tuesday, or whenever the 22nd is, hopefully a little bit more about this. You know, hopefully. Scott, with what Kojima Productions has done in the past, like you said, with the previous games, with PT especially, like there was so much mystery surrounding that game. If it was going to come back, it would be like this. It would be as mad as this. It would be as obfuscated as this, with so many different distractions and things going on. And, you know, Kojima has been tweeting that he's been working on something for, you know, over the past few weeks, but certainly the past few months as well. Mm-hmm. And while a lot of us might have assumed that was Death Stranding, the director's cut, which was announced and is apparently going to be unveiled in a few weeks' time, imagine it, whatever Sony kind of announces as their event, their follow-up to E3, which has been rumored, and presumably where we're going to see more Death Stranding. Imagine if they have, or integrate the reveal of this into the Death Stranding director's cut kind of like reveal.
Shared universe.
Yeah, if there's something going on, because that trailer was weird. Like the Death Stranding thing was odd. All the Metal Gear references, like you said, the oranges, the box, the fact that it was just 3 minutes of more or less nothing. Like it was a strange way to do business. Yep. And in a lot of ways, Kojima is a strange man to do business with. Like he likes that stuff. It doesn't have to have any meaning. But like you said, the past few times this has happened, it's been something big. And I'm not going to fully buy into the conspiracy theory, but I would like it to be true.
It's almost definitely not true. I mean, that's the thing. Like Jason Schreier said he looked into it. It took him hours or something, and he's come away not 100% sure anymore. Jeff Grubb had tweeted that he was begging PlayStation to do a state of play because he said that all of us are starving and we're hallucinating this game. But there's a lot of different people weighing in. I said, you know, one of the Insomniac team, one of the developers, tweeted the "What's in the box" GIF. So regardless of where we go from here on out, these conversations have been a whole lot of fun. I hope there's something at the heart of it, because the base reality of it, the other side of the coin, is that Hassan Kamrahan is an absolute genius marketing person, and Blue Box Studios, because the thing is, the April footage didn't look good at all. It was, the frame rate was terrible, the voiceover was horrible, it didn't look promising at all. So maybe that was all a ruse though. Somehow maybe that's a ruse. If it's Hideo Kojima, anything goes, and hopefully we can get some positivity out of it. Even though the core gut part of me just thinks it's an indie game that's sort of blown up a little bit. But why is Geoff Keighley not telling us the truth, Josh?
I don't know. Why?
I don't know.
Why is he releasing those little teaser videos? I don't know. I know at the very least though, whatever Blue Box is, if it is an independent studio, they're going to be absolutely buzzing with this. Everyone's talking about them now. Everyone's talking about their potential game. And even I'm like, oh, if this Abandoned is its own thing, I'm going to be quite interested. It actually sounds quite good.
Even that, it's called Abandoned. What was Abandoned? Silent Hill. I'm just saying. It's right there. So yeah, let us know what you think down in the comments below. Is the very idea of this the most maddest frog thing you've ever heard all day? Or could it possibly be true? For now though, I've been Scott from WhatCulture.com.
I mean Josh from WhatCulture.com, I think.
We'll catch you next time.
Bye.